What's going on, y'all? Fat Boy Chronicles. Talking about relationships, and I'm gonna talk about a little reason why men cheat. Not saying that it's okay, not condoning it, but I'm gonna talk about why men cheat. Men cheat because they have a fucked up view of relationships, plain and simple. Nobody ever came along and taught them how to treat women, how to respect women, how to show a woman her worth. So a lot of men have been abused sexually, physically, whatever. Whatever the case may be. A lot of men have, issues with their mom, and that starts a lot. That starts, a lot of the trend of how they treat women, specifically pertaining to, their mothers and whatnot. So my thing is this: I grew up with my mom, and I grew up also. I grew up also with my grandmother, and those two women taught me a lot. Those two women showed me a lot of what a woman is. My mom is the most beautiful woman in the world to me, other than my daughter, and I love her to death. Now, don't get me wrong, like, did I have a great relationship with my mom in the beginning? No, we didn't, but as the years have went on, our relationship has gotten better. I know for a long time, I'm gonna start with my grandmother, and then I'm gonna jump to the other part. My grandmother showed me a lot of love. My mom wasn't the huggy, oh, I love you, son, and type thing. She'll do it, but not, enough. My grandmother was the huggy and all the affection and all the other stuff. So that's where I learned the affection part of dealing with a woman, was from my grandmother. My mom was hard, but my mom could be soft. She could be soft as hell, but she was always hard and always strict and always stern and always, you're a boy, you're not supposed to have those type of feelings, and you're not supposed to be sensitive and all that shit. You're supposed to be rough and tough, like a man, like a boy. So growing up, like I said, my views were skewed a little bit because, like I said, I had the balance from my grandmother, but I had my mom also, who had her way of doing things. So growing up, I disrespected women. I talked bad about women. I did women dirty. I've been hurt a lot by women, disrespected on so many different levels. But at the end of the day, my daughter being born was what changed me and what showed me a better way of how to deal with women, because I seen all my mistakes. And as a man, when you have a daughter, when you have a woman, because that's what she is, she's gonna materialize into a woman at some point, and her being the woman that she will eventually become. She's a young lady right now, but she will be a woman. I want to make sure that she doesn't have to go through that she doesn't have to deal with men disrespecting her, doing her wrong. And I'm gonna teach her every tool in the book that I know to make sure that does not happen, and I'm gonna set better examples. But growing up, I didn't have that example of a man treating a woman correctly. My mom, she went through abuse in her relationships, or not relationships, excuse me. Her relationship, one of her marriages, she went through abuse, and I seen some of that. I didn't see a lot of it because I wasn't around a whole lot. But I know my mom went through that, and that concept, I seen her go through that, and I was like, yeah, I just can't see myself doing women wrong, but wrong. Ended up doing women dirty. Ended up treating women like shit. So I was saying all this to say, men, we got to do better. We got to do better in treating our women better. We got to do better in treating our daughters better. Because at the end of the day, none of the shit that we do to the women that we do it to, we wouldn't want done to our daughters or our mothers. And I know this for a fact because I have a daughter and I have a mom. So a lot of the shit that I did back in the day, I would never want my daughter to go through that. Never. I think a lot of times as men, we don't like to admit that we have issues from our past relationships and different things like that we bring into the present. We don't mean to, but we don't recognize it, and we don't take enough time to realize it and understand it better. So my thing is simply this, for men, for all men out there who feel like, running through females is the right thing to do and doing women dirty and all that, not the look. It's not the look. These women deserve better. These women need better. And I'm not talking to the women that scratch it. I'm not talking to the women that are hoes. I'm not talking to the women that, treat niggas like dirt and then expect them, a nigga to act right and all that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these good, wholesome ass women out here who we just run through and who we just basically act like we don't give a fuck about because we've been hurt and because we've been done dirty. Because I know I have. I can sit here and tell you stories all day long. I've been done dirty by women most of my life, especially growing up. Like women just not my mom, not my grandmother, but women in general, that teachers, the women I've dated, all that, treated me like shit. They thought I was square. They thought I was some simple Negro, and they tried to do me dirty, and I let it because my self-esteem was fucked up. My whole concept of women were fucked up. But now I have a better perspective. I was just telling a friend of mine about that I have a better perspective and understanding on women now than I did way before. So I say that to say this, fellas, we got to do better by our women, specifically sisters. Not disrespecting any other race of women, but sisters, I'm specifically talking about sisters. We do sisters so wrong, and they stick with us so hard, and they ride with us so strong, and yet we still treat them like shit. So, yeah, I'm gonna hop up off here, y'all. Fatboy Chronicles YouTube, Lindsey Harris, Facebook, Lindsey R. Harris Jr., Instagram, Bolivar30, Snapchat Bolivar31. Get at me, y'all. Talk to y'all later.